As of March 4, 2024, the losses of the armed forces of Ukraine in the Bakhmut direction of the front amounted to more than 400 soldiers, 3 tanks, and 5 infantry fighting vehicles. Moreover, the units of the southern group of troops managed to capture more advantageous positions and also take control of about 3 strategic heights. The official representatives of the Ministry of Defense of the Russian Federation announced it. In parallel with this, war correspondents note the high intensity of the work of Russian combat aviation and artillery. It is reported that in the last 24 hours alone, Russian gunners and pilots of combat planes and attack helicopters managed to destroy about 10 enemy self-propelled guns of various types, including Polish KRAB self-propelled guns. Moreover, Russian telegram channels, referring to the statements of war correspondents, noted that the eastern microdistrict of Chasov Yar had turned into a real hell. According to them, Russian combat aviation, with the help of the most powerful guided aerial bombs of the FAB family, is bombarding the eastern part of Chasov Yar in non-stop mode. It is reported that almost all high-rise buildings in the residential area of this eastern microdistrict have been turned into powerful firing points by the Ukrainian army. The main goal of Russian combat aviation is to destroy all detected enemy firing points, to create favorable conditions to further advance of Russian troops. Moreover, the war correspondents also confirmed reports that General Sersky had thrown a female detachment of snipers into battle. In particular, this female detachment was sent to the eastern microdistrict of Chasov Yar in order to prevent further advance of Russian troops. It is reported that the military training of these women is at a very low level. However, their morale and motivation are quite high. Russian war correspondents note that the brains of these women have been completely washed out due to the impact of powerful Ukrainian propaganda. According to them, this female detachment is likely to be completely destroyed by Russian aerial bombs in the coming days, as there is a water barrier behind them in the form of the Seversky-Donetsk-Donbass Canal. And this natural barrier completely deprived these women of all escape routes. Watching what is happening on the battlefield, it becomes clear that the Russians will not storm this eastern microdistrict of Chasov Yar from the move. Most likely, the Avdiivka scenario will be repeated here. Let me remind you that back then, in the southern part of Avdiivka, the Russians also refused to storm the strongholds of the armed forces of Ukraine from the move. Instead, the Russians dropped hundreds of aerial bombs on the positions of the armed forces of Ukraine, and only after that, they went on the offensive and achieved all their goals with minimal losses. The same thing is happening now in Chasov Yar area. Russian troops are advancing toward the city from the northeast and the southeast, without stopping bombing the positions of the armed forces of Ukraine in Chasov Yar itself. Moreover, the spokesman for the 105th Regiment of the Donetsk People's Republic stated that the Russian troops managed to dislodge the enemy from the village of Krasnoy. According to him, the Russian army took control of the eastern part of the village, while its southern part moved into the gray zone. Against this background, the Ukrainian telegram channels recognized the fact that the supply of the grouping of the armed forces of Ukraine in Chasov Yar, along the main road connecting this city with Konstantinovka, has deteriorated significantly. According to them, if the Russians manage to approach Chasov Yar from the northeast and southeast at an extremely close distance, then the Russian artillery will be able to take under fire control all strategic roads along which the grouping of the armed forces of Ukraine is supplied in this city. Meanwhile, footage of the third destroyed U.S. Abrams tank appeared online. It is reported that this American tank, like the others, was destroyed in the Avdiivka direction of the front, near the settlement of BORZZIKMAN. According to war correspondents, this American tank was destroyed by soldiers from the assault group of the 30th Motorized Rifle Brigade of the Armed Forces of the Russian Federation. It is reported that the U.S. Abrams tank was hit by a grenade launcher, after which it was finished off by an FPV drone. It is reliably known that the Ukrainian armed forces use 5 U.S. Abrams tanks in the Avdiivka direction of the front, 3 of which have already been destroyed by the Russian army. At the same time, it is worth noting that Russian soldiers began to speak very negatively about the combat capabilities of the American tank. According to them, the U.S. Abrams tank is much easier to destroy than the German Leopard tank. Russian soldiers note that the German tank is much better than the U.S. tank, and that the life expectancy of Abrams tanks on the battlefield is much lower than that of conventional infantry fighting vehicles. Thus, it becomes clear why the Pentagon, all this time, has not allowed the armed forces of Ukraine to use American tanks in the hottest areas of the front. Against this background, the Chinese media said that the conflict in Ukraine had completely dispelled the myth of the superiority of Western weapons. According to Chinese journalists, in Ukraine, Russian means of destruction eliminate dozens of Western tanks, infantry fighting vehicles, and multiple launch rocket systems every day. Chinese journalists expressed confidence that if Western fighter jets were sent to Ukraine, they would suffer the same sad fate, and that the West, by its participation in this conflict, had finally trampled its reputation into the mud, showing the world its inability to effectively resist the Russian army.